10.2, finding confidence intervals and performing significance tests for difference of means, because we're looking at two populations. Here are the formulas, all the formulas you'll need. There are just two. So if you're doing a confidence interval for difference of means, mu sub 1 minus mu sub 2, you would use x sub 1 bar, the mean of x sub 1 minus x sub 2. So the difference of the samples plus or minus t star. For you're using a t distribution because we don't know the standard deviation of the population typically, and then we use the sample standard deviations, s sub 1 squared over n sub 1 plus s sub 2 squared. This is on your formula card, this over n sub 2, and that is for confidence interval for difference of means. We'll do it in an example soon. For your normal condition, be sure you check that both population distributions are normal, or that both sample sizes are greater than or equal to 30, so that you can use the central limit theorem for the normal condition for means. So that's all I will say there, and we're gonna to do this on your calculator, there's a great table in the back of your book. There's an appendix that lists where the technology corners are if you forget how to do something. But on page 636, and you use the stat button and you go to tests, and you would do for this, but you have to be careful to do the right thing, you would pick two sample t interval for the confidence interval. Not test, it's an interval. So you go to the test menu, but you pick interval. And we will do that. I will show you that later. And now for if you're doing a significance test, it would be called, and you have to start saying the name of this on tests. So two sample t-test for, in the plan section, you would state the name of what you're doing. Two sample t-test for difference of, you could say the words difference of means, or you could write it like that. So in this case you have h naught, and that is typically, so difference of means equal 0, that's no change. Typically that's what you would write. So your test statistic for a t-test would be t equals, the formula would be the difference of means x sub 1 minus x sub 2, and then minus, so how far is it away from 0, and whatever you state in your null hypothesis is what goes there. It's typically going to be 0 though, over, and then the same thing as before, and it's not pooled with proportions. We pulled them together. Don't do that with means. So it will just be s sub 1 squared over n sub 1 plus s sub 2 squared over n sub 2. And for the calculator, it's going to be on page 642. You would go to stat, then you would go to tests, and you would pick very carefully to sample t. Looks just like before, but it will say test, not interval. To sample t-test.